Let me put you up on jeu. All right? Let me tell you why Montreal might be one of the best regions for hip hop in the entire world. In the last month, two albums by two guys, Seinssucrer and Nicholas Craven, have come out, and they are absolutely amazing. Cabana Sucre and Pea Soup. And I'm going to use just two songs, so don't worry. I'm not going to make a super long video. I'm not going to force you to listen to all the albums, but I am going to point you towards two songs that prove my points. Okay? What are my points? I've got four of them. One, why the best rap in Canada could potentially be in French. Point number two, why the best rap in French might even be from Canada. Point number three, why one of the best white rappers in the world could be a Canadian from Montreal. And number four, these albums make a case for why Nicholas Craven might be the Gorn producer, the greatest of right now. So let's start off with that first one, why the best rap in Canada may be in French. Listen, I'm not an expert on Canadian rap. Feel free to tell me if you are about the hot stuff happening in Winnipeg and Vancouver and your St. John's, all that stuff, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff happening. But the thing is, Montreal is just such a fascinating place. It's its own story, right? It's its own story. Now, first of all, like the rest of Canada, it has the sort of the history of immigration. It has a very different history than America, so a lot of the people who are making the rap music share maybe more in common with European rap than they do with American rap, because it's not a history of the transcontinental slave trade. It's more history of the nature of immigration and melding of cultures and systemic racism from a different side. Okay, so that's what you have in Toronto. That's why in Toronto you have such great Caribbean influence, etc. But in Montreal, you have all of that, right? But like with a different angle, because if you immigrate to Montreal, you are more likely to come from a place that was also colonized by the French. So that means you might have a different life experience. It means you might come from a different place, right? So it has that history that's shared by all of Canada, but it also has its own inter-Canadian history of oppression. Now listen, I'm not comparing the suffering of French Canadians to the suffering of most other oppressed people on planet Earth. But it is still true. It is still true that in our living memory, Canada was divided between the English speakers and the French speakers, and even in the province of Quebec, all of the money, all of the power, all of the government, everything was completely controlled by Anglophones. All right? By people who speak English. Now listen, again, this is nothing compared to the slave trade. This is nothing compared to the Trail of Tears. But it is meaningful. It is a piece of history that did actually color the way it was like they were second-class citizens in their own province. All because of some war between England and France. Imagine if Italy beat England in a war, and everybody in Massachusetts who spoke English had to just like pay all of their money to people who spoke Italian, you know? And beyond that, it's this whole secondary history where it's also not just a question of language, it's also a question of religion, because England famously is Protestant, which is why America is Protestant. France is famously Catholic, which is why Quebec is Catholic. So like you would be prejudiced against by your language, your heritage, and your religion. All right, so that's the whole kind of specific history to Montreal rap, and that exists in that music. These different kinds of lived experiences, which frankly, I don't know how much you can possibly relate to them from an American standpoint. And what's great is that because of this, French-Canadian hip-hop is able to face in two different directions, because it is truly multilingual. It is truly English and French. All these guys I'm talking about can just speak French or speak English, either way. Just boom, in both cases with accents, but they are completely multilingual, which allows them to face in two different directions. Now, I've done videos on guys like Dice B, who's like the godfather of Montreal rap. I've done videos on D-Track, who's probably my favorite MC in French Canada. But like, they're able to face in two different directions, at least two different directions, Europe and America. So that while France was having its huge boom, its gigantic boom of great hip-hop in the late 90s, the same time as America was, Montreal was able to absorb both of them. And that history is in their current underground scene, as incarnated by Nicholas Craven. So that's why it may be the best region for rap in Canada. But why might it be the best region for French rap in general? Well, I don't know. I mean, I listen to a lot of French rap from France, but it's a big country. There's a lot of broad appeal. There's something about this charming mixture of Europe and America that makes this stuff so great. I mean, there's a song on one of these albums where it's called Strictement du Business, which means strictly business. So that's a reference to EPMD's great album, Strictly Business. And then in that song, one of the rappers makes reference to Jean Coupable et Libre, comme les X-Men. X-Men was this great rap group from the outskirts of Paris from the late 90s. Like, they're able to just go between them. And this kind of bilingualism and this really strong regionalism. If you play French-Canadian rap for French people, they'll always do the same thing. Je comprends pas. C'est pas du français, ça. Okay, that's my French snob voice. Okay, that's not French. It is ours. Okay, that's joual. Joual is the term they use. That's how you say cheval in Montreal. That's how deformed the language is to French ears. Okay, so I don't know. I listen. On average, the stuff I hear from Montreal is really good, and on average, the stuff I hear from France is not. There's a lot of great stuff. I'm going to be coming out with an album on a guy named Yame for Bastille Day. There's still a lot of great French rap happening, but okay. Why one of the best rappers, best white rappers might be from Montreal? This guy, Seinssucrer, he is just you just got to get up on him, okay? And listen. He produces, he raps, he releases like 5 albums a day. It's unbelievable how productive he is. You're going to hear him and you're going to say, oh, he's just trying to be West Side Gun. And maybe he is. There's a little bit of that. But he has his own style. He has his own, especially the way that he has this sort of... And listen, I call him the White Glorilla because good fucking luck. Oh, do you have a doctorate in French? You're not going to understand a single word this guy says. You're going to understand words the way like a dog understands English, Like if you're not saying walkies or food, I don't know what you're going to understand. But it's because he's just so ill. Like his flow is so good and his breath control is so good. And when you do actually break down his lyrics, which are not online, so they're hard to find, they are quite good. But he just has this ridiculous flow and this ridiculous style. There's no one who sounds like him. You're going to hear it and you're going to say, oh, he's trying to sound like West Side Gun. You just keep listening. And in case you feel alienated because you don't speak French, I don't speak Seinssucrer. I don't know what this guy's saying. I mean, okay, all right. I have to be totally honest. I sort of get some of it. You know what I mean? Sort of the way that, like, if you're listening to Glorilla, sometimes you're just like, I speak English, right? But, like, that's the point of regionalism. You're not trying to sound like a newscaster. You're trying to represent where you're from. Finally, number 4, why is Nicholas Craven perhaps the greatest producer of right now? We know he's great with the crazy sampling. We know he's great with these matching voices. But the thing that he does is he is able to face in 4 directions. He faces south. He faces down to the United States. He's going to come out with an album with Boldy James again next week. He works with Griselda, okay? He's able to work in America and just be respected as just any other guy, just like Conductor Williams or like Alchemist, right? He is able to face east. He's able to go to France. He's able to work with legends of French hip-hop. And he's able to work over there. And he's able to bring in the influences of the French Renaissance, the high point of French hip-hop as well. And he stays north. He keeps putting on people from his region. He doesn't have to. And this is the whole thing about both these projects. It's like there's a problem in underground hip-hop. Whenever somebody makes it, they just leave. They just say, I made it, great, goodbye, sucks to be you, I made it. Even rappers who like make it a little bit out of the local scene, just very often, just completely forget their seed and just run off to LA, run off to Atlanta, run off to New York, just try to make it. Nicholas Craven could easily move to New York, could easily just be one of those guys. He could just be one of those guys, but he stays and he works and he lifts up. And that's the thing about this scene. Both these projects show this scene because there are 2 projects. One's called Pea Soup, which means like the sugar shack where you make maple syrup. It's also the name of a restaurant. My daughter was very excited because she spent a lot of time in Montreal, and she went to the restaurant called Pea Soup. Okay? And that whole project is just putting everyone on. It's like a way of showing off all this great talent that exists. Seinssucrer and Nicholas Craven produces every single beat. Seinssucrer is on every single song. So we have the hit makers, and then they just keep bringing people on. And then the second album is called Pea Soup, and that's just about the glory of Montreal. It really is. So I'm going to give you one song from each. First one here. Click right here for Qui peut stop le grind. Okay? Qui peut stop le grind. You might understand. All right? Are you on there? Have you listened to it? Come on with this beat, Nicholas Craven. Now, he is the number one do not sample snitch guy. So I don't know where the sample comes from. So I'm not even going to come close to snitching. But I don't know where he finds this. The guitar notes are just so clear. Such a perfect bed for this lyricism. He extends it at exactly the right time. And then we have three rappers. And this is what I'm talking about. These three rappers, Chrome and Low Pesci. Now, the fun thing is, Chrome and Low Pesci, they are Montreal battle rap legends. I'm going to include another link down in the description that gives you the battle between Chrome and Low Pesci from 7 years ago. Low Pesci is sort of the old master, the one who's been doing it for a long time, and Chrome is the young kid who comes up and wants the crown. Chrome completely destroys. I have Wi-Fi in my car, voice activated. I don't have to touch my phone. You rocking FUBU jackets on your bus ride home. You're a fucking bum. He kills them. Making hits, recording music in a closet. No one believes your dumb shit. You're a loser, homie. Stop it when I battle rap you. You're a Muslim because you never drew profits. Ow! Just kills him. All right. So it's a fun battle rap. I don't really know battle rap that well, but it's fun. It's fun to see. And now they're together on this track. The difference is they did the whole battle rap in English because it's all bilingual. And all here, they're all in Montreal. Except it's not. It's all bilingual. It's all a mixture of English and French. And they're able to do it because that's the thing. It's for them. It creates regional rap is important because it has to create a space where the people from the region have special access, special understanding that people outside cannot understand. The fact that you don't understand all the references, you don't understand the slang, is not a fault. It is actually a feature of regional rap music. So let's see who wins the battle 7 years later on this song. Starts off with Chrome. Je suis comme Aretha Franklin, quand les dweebs step. Pas de besoin de te rappeler, je veux mon respect. I think that's what he says. I don't know why he says rappeler instead of rappeler, but that's what he says. He's just mixing together English. He uses the term dweebs. That's not a term in French. Quand les dweebs step. Like, beautiful, just because that's what you can do when you're multilingual. You could just mix together what you want and what you don't want. So fuck a fake fraud à la Bernie Madoff. Il veut pas perdre face, alors ils vont jamais face off. You know? On ne peut pas comparer nos scores, on ne pratique pas le même sport. So he comes in and he's got the bars, and you think he's going to win, but then Low Pesci comes in. Low Pesci, he's got the flow, man. He wins on flow, he wins on voice. He's got this really engaging voice. I love what he's saying, and so you think, oh, well, who's going to win? Seinssucrer is going to win. He comes right in, these ad-libs, and he's so cool. Quand je rappe sur les shit, big shaft, c'est peut-être dans la glace, il ne faut pas que tu glisses. Je kick tellement fort que ça ouvre d'autres portes. I'm doing my best here. Yeah, it's awesome. You know, like if you look at yourself in the mirror, don't slip. But like it's a joke because mirror is the same word as ice in French. So like don't slip. It's like he's just playing around. I kick so hard that it opens other doors. You know, he's just going, and then he brings them all together with a chorus. Seinssucrer wins the battle. His verse is just absolutely killer. I only understand, little bits of it here and there, but just his style and the Il n'y a pas un homme alive qui peut stop le grind. There's no man alive who can stop the grind. Mixing together English and French, the only people who understand this are people who are bilingual. It's awesome. This album is filled with other great tracks like Maillon Cubain, which is like Cuban links in French. It's beautiful. And then we get to the album Pea Soup, a much shorter album. And this album is crazy because Pea Soup itself is a regional dish of Montreal. I watched an Instagram video about this on Seinssucrer's Instagram recently. So pea soup is like symbolic because it was considered to be like peasant food. And actually the English people would make fun of the French for eating so much pea soup because it was the only food they could afford, because the English had all the banks, the English had all the money, the English had all the control, okay? You still go to the center of Montreal, okay? You still go there. Right in front of the cathedral, which is a symbol of Catholicism and a symbol of French culture, there is the Bank of Montreal, which is completely controlled by families with names like McGregor and McLeish and McDougall, okay? All the sort of Scottish and English people who controlled most of Canada at the time. It's fascinating. Montreal, by the way, is my favorite city in America to visit, okay? The two most interesting cities in North America to visit, besides New York. Not even New York. New York's too confusing. Memphis, Tennessee, Montreal, Canada. Fascinating. History, culture, everything, all the time. It's an amazing place to visit because you feel this tension everywhere. From the giant statue of Nelson right across from the statue of Vauquelin, the two guys who fought the naval battles. Anyway, so that's what pea soup means. And there's just all these crazy samples that are mostly folky samples that are supposed to connect and bridge across the generations to show the pride and joy of Montreal. Just crazy samples. There's a song called Habitant. I don't know how he raps over it. It's just like one long song, but that's not the song I want to play for you. The song I want to play for you is called Montreal. It's just called Montreal. You click up there. Is it up there? Yeah, right above Patrick's head. This warbled sample from the old time song. And this is the whole thing. The whole album is executive produced by Nicholas Craven, but he allows other producers on there like Mike Shab. Mike Shab is another one of these tippy top level producers who's out of Montreal, works a lot with Nicholas Craven. I figure he's got to be the guy throwing on the drums on here because Nicholas Craven generally is pretty minimalist with how he changes his beats. But we got these just crazy drums. We don't know how it's warbling and how it's going. It just gets wilder and more distorting. And I don't know what he's rapping. There's just so much style. Montreal. Montreal. So that's it. That's why Montreal, I think, is one of the best areas for rap music in the world. You'll see behind me a poster of Patrick Roy, one of the greatest French Canadians of all time. I hope he's not some weird conservative loser like Gretzky. I don't know. You can tell me in the comments. That's a poster I bought as a kid. It's funny because like I hate the Canadians, the hockey team as a kid, because I'm from Boston. My favorite player is a guy named Pete Peters. And in 1983, I went to my first sporting event, a hockey game. I remember because it was in the old Boston Garden, and I couldn't even see over the yellow railing because I was so short. My favorite player is Pete Peters, our goalie, and Guy Lafleur, that little shoots a slap shot. The puck goes up Pete Peters' mask and hits him in the face. I'm like a little kid, and I see my hero bleeding from the face as the Canadiens absolutely beat our asses. As I've grown older, I've learned to appreciate the Canadians as a team. And the reason they're called the Canadians is because the French Canadians are the only real Canadians. The rest of them are just English. That's what's implied with their name. Anyways, my goal is to get that poster signed by as many figures in the Montreal rap scene as I can. So we'll see how I do over the years. I want to make like a real effort, sometime. Maybe I'll go on sabbatical or something. Do a whole documentary on Québécois rap. We'll see. All right. Well, until next time, as they say in Montreal, a bonjour.